Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm gonna be giving you what if Naruto was recreated by the Shinigami. Remember to give this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, there's a brand new series on this channel, so go ahead and check it out. What if Naruto's Sharingan and Byakugan fuse into a new dojutsu? So go ahead and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, I indeed have 3 channels: Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and check them out guys, and yeah, enjoy. And also, remember to turn on that bell notification stay posted, because I indeed post every day, and yeah, it's get a lot. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode start? The intro! So the last time we left off, Naruto believed that he could actually change Orochimaru before he became the man that he was going to become. As he started to speak to said man, as he spoke about his student uncle, he seemed to actually care for her. So whatever happened to him in the future that turned him in the way that he is, it hadn't happened yet. As Naruto noticed that, so he had to make precautions to make sure that the man continued down this path. So with that, they continued to move until they realized Manda was stuck in mud. That was rather shocking given the terrain of the sand. Rain was an anomaly out here most times, so that was shocking. But they didn't realize that it was the enemy as they turned to face them. As Naruto saw who the enemy was, he knew him from his time. His name was Gari. He had been one of the reanimations. He possessed the explosion release that he could use in his fists. This was bad. As Naruto tried to sort things out, he merely spoke to the man. At one point, Garo really believed that he should hightail and run, but that didn't make sense because if he did, the Tsuchikage would have his ass. So he instead decided to fight along with his man. His goal here was to kill Naruto or kill Tsunade. The thought of the two of them ever combined together and create a child for the future was something threatening to all of the nations. Their power would be absolute. So he had to kill one of them. Gari managed to rush towards Tsunade while she was dealing with the other foe. She turned to smash him to pieces, but he tilted his body as she smashed the ground. He used the dust and debris to hit her in the stomach. Naruto's eyes went wide as she was blown. A literal hole blown right through her. Naruto lost it as he watched her. Having lost so much of his precious people, Naruto simply lost it as he went into a rage. He went chaotic as his eyes morphed. Amaterasu, he said as he set the ninjas ablaze. He then proceeded to trap Gari in his Tsukuyomi and then started to burn and torture the man alive. When Tsunade got back to her feet as she used her seal on her forehead, Naruto almost forgot about that. Given his anger state at seeing her fall, he gripped her and told her never ever to do that again. Tsunade was baffled, never being placed in this situation before. She didn't know what to do or how to even react. Why was he? And not to mention his eyes. Her grandfather told her a lot about the Sharingan. They only awaken these eyes when they lose someone they care about. But why? She did not understand why for her as she looked towards him. She promised that she would never put herself in needless danger even though she was a powerful kunoichi. But there was just something about his words that struck her rather deep. She then examined his eyes to make sure he was not going blind. As Naruto wondered if he already had the Eternal, because he did not feel the same effect that he should have been feeling right now. Something was not right, because he didn't feel weakness in his eyes. But they ended up coming across the sand group. The next in line to be Kazekage's name was Hiro. as he was rather arrogant and also rather, well, yeah, he was just an ass. Pakura came to greet Naruto as she was going to be his guide, as she had this flirtatious way about her. It was a way of enticing Naruto, as Naruto was brought towards the Kazekage, as he told the others if anything happened they should run. As something was going on, as the Kazekage spoke to him, the man's words were filled with questions, but Naruto was able to see through them. The man would be happy if someone would take care of Hiro, so Sasori could become the next Kazekage, as that is what he wanted, but the council was training Hiro in his stead. As Naruto realized what the man was trying to say, but he didn't add on to it or anything. The man also put it rather bluntly that the San will back him if he decides to take the reign of Hokage, but not by peacefully but by force. Knowing the background that Naruto came from, the Uchiha background, and knowing that they were the founders of the village, that is why he was saying all of this. And he also gave Naruto Pakura like she was an item. She was shocked, but the man gave her no time to protest. She and another Chunin to take with him back to the village. As that is a part of the deal, he could not refuse them. Before anything could be solidified though, a Chunin rushed inside. It turns out that Hiro was kidnapped, as the Kazekage asked Naruto to rescue Hiro for him, with Pakura already moving through the window. When Naruto caught up with her, he spoke to her. She was surprised that he actually didn't want to force himself on her or accept this ritual. There was something about the way he spoke. It was rather captivating. But when they arrived towards the square of the village, Hiro was tied up in a bunch of explosive notes. It was one of Gaara's men who had managed to survive and escape. How the hell was he able to kidnap the future Kazekage right in the center of the village and knock him out like that? As Naruto realized that something was wrong, the moment the man saw Naruto, he was afraid. As he saw him, he was petrified. "You," he said. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place of yourself, and what do you say we leap right in this new episode, guys? "You!" The man raged the moment he saw Naruto. "Keep your eyes away from me, demon, monster, murderer! You killed my captain, filth, scum! Konoha won't live to regret your actions." As the man had Hiro and an unconscious Kunoichi as well, wrapped in explosives. "Calm down," said Parker, seeing that he had the situation on hold. "What are your demands?" she said. "We can talk about it." "Talk?" he screamed in rage. "There's nothing to talk about. You are just as bad as them. You murder us like pigs, butcher us like we were cattle. Now, I'm going to do the same to you." As he clutched Hiro and the girl closer to himself, he threw his head back and laughed madly. "I'll take you all to hell with me. We can all burn together, just like he burned me." "You're insane," said Naruto, "and you need treatment." As Naruto's Sharingan fly into existence. "Don't touch me," the man said. "Don't even look at me. I know your tricks. He told me all about them. I will not be deceived." As Naruto froze at that, he acts. "The true Uchiha," the man yelled. "He restored my body. He told me the truth. He sent me here to kill you, traitor. And I will..." Madara, Naruto thought. How is that even possible? At that moment, Hiro Gold Dust smashed into the man's face with the force of a sledgehammer. Whatever the stone ninja was about to finish to say, his mouth was crushed back with the sand. But upon pushing the man down, he released the kill switch. Everyone fled in that instant, leaving the four shinobi who the man wrath wanted to send to hell with its explosion. The man knew that his mission was failed, as he would take them with him though, for the glory of the hidden stone. For his Tishikage, he would purge these scum away. "Die!" he gurgled. There was no time. He could not save the both of them. He could only grab one. He grabbed the girl instead and dove for cover. At that moment, he was aware of Hiro, cry of shock, and of Pakura throwing a fireball into the man's chest. But it was already too late, as Naruto saw what would have happened, and he called upon a power that he didn't want to touch, but now he had to. A blue ribcage formed out of nothing, and the explosion went off as the place went white. For a second there was no sound at all, as the explosion seemed to just swallow all of it before it went boom. The place shook from the cataclysmic explosion, wiping away everything in the center. Once the smoke started to clear away, Naruto Imperfect Susanoo did his job. It served as a buffer between the bomber and the three of them. As dust and smoke was all over the area, a suicide bomber, who the hell even do that anymore? As Naruto looked towards the girl that he saved from death, the same could not be said for her companion though. Without the flying thunder god, this body, he could not save the both of them. Whoever Hero was destined to be, he would no longer be because he was dead now. Well, that could have gone better. Agreed, his colleague beside him said, as her scorch release had been the key to defusing the blast, though she was too humble to admit it. Though I never expect him to detonate himself in such a spectacular fashion, her hazel eyes looking towards the massive crater. The explosion would have been a lot much more powerful if she had not used her scorch release to detonate some of the tags prematurely. He had taken 2 lives instead of dozens, his own and the life of Hero. The girl beneath Naruto groaned as she looked over towards where the blast had happened. Oh my god, she said. Hey, calm down, said Naruto. Don't look over there, look at me. Are you alright? Any injuries? What's your name, he asked. The trick was to bombard them with so much question that they wouldn't have time to think. They would think later. If there was even a slight possibility that the attacker wasn't acting alone, and there was, as Naruto glanced around. But he could feel no one else close enough to the vicinity. Karora, she said. Rank, he asked. Chunin. Injuries? None, she said. Measurements? Huh? Kidding, he said. If she had enough energy to be angry then, she would be just fine. Right then, I need you to focus. Can you stand? Yeah, she said. It was then that Naruto got a good look at her, and his eyes widened. Brown hair, purple eyes. This was no mere Kunoichi. He had just saved Gaara's mother from certain death. And if that boy with the golden dust. No. As Naruto turned his head towards the scorched body, the gold dust. Shit, that was who Hero was. No other shinobi wield a technique like that. If they did, he did not know of them. That means... What the hell happened here? A voice said. It was the voice of Tsunade as Jiraiya and Orochimaru arrived. Soon after, only to gawk at a massive hole that the man had left in the center of the village. As their eyes turned towards Naruto, what did you do, Tsunade asked. Naruto looked towards Pakura and the mother of Gaara before he looked up. Yeah, long story there, he said. Time skip. In hindsight, their return trip was rather peaceful, considering that all Naruto and his team went through upon making their way there, and what happened upon arriving there. After everything, it was decided that it would be best if Konoha signed the treaty and just leave, post haste, a tactical retreat to avoid any further problems, the Sand Council had called it. The Kasakage had been less subtle though. Hero's corpse was still cooling, and the man had already called for a sorcerer to be his next successor. Now that he gotten what he wanted, he was eager to see the back of them leave. 2 kunoichi would be given to the leaf, in terms of the tie of the treaty, and as promised, they would bat the village for all time. Kind words were spoken and promises were given, but they left Naruto feeling a bit soiled inside, and how could he not? Orochimaru of all people had been the one to talk to him to accept the deal, because the Kasakage would not sign otherwise. The man made some sense. Most time you had to put aside what you wanted for the greater good. Jiraiya of course had been all for it. Some things never change. Tsunade was not that talkative about it, with those 2 girls being coming there for him. Pakura had been rather silent though. Kurora seemed almost grateful for the third decree, despite that the man had berated her for being kidnapped in the first place. She was called weak, worthless, and not fitting to be a kunoichi. So of course she would be grateful to get away from this village. Not that Naruto blamed her. She struck him as a gentle soul, like she wouldn't even hurt a fly. Ow! Said Naruto, as he was broke from his thoughts. Sorry, Kurora said, as she trimmed his hair. Did I get you? Yeah, a little, said Naruto. Careful, girl. Sorry, she said once again. As she was cutting his hair, they were once again on top of Manda, making their way back. With no sandstorm or people to interrupt them, they were making great progress. As Naruto finally got the opportunity to have his hair cut, the locks of his hair had been singed due to that suicidal bomber. Long locks was suitable for people like Jiraiya, who hardened his hair and fired them around, but for Naruto it would be a hindrance. The last thing he wanted was someone to grab a handful of his hair, so he was getting a trim from Korora. But he was in keep the bangs though, and some of it coming down. Perhaps you should let me try, Naruto-sama, Sakura said, a ghost of a smile coming on her face. It was a pale intimidation of the real thing, but it was the first true emotion she showed since leaving his hand. She clung to him like a second shadow since the explosion. More and more Naruto Uzumaki. Wait, Uchiha now. Yeah, Uchiha. He found himself surrounded by beautiful women, and sometimes he had no idea what to do with them. Oh, trust me, he knew what he could do, but his chivalry held that urge of him in check. Somewhat. Kinda. Sort of. Nah, who the hell was he kidding? Sakura was gorgeous. She was absolutely stunning. And the urge to just grab her was rather great. Not to mention with her being so close to him. Maybe she was not doing it on purpose, but she had this flirtatious way in which she spoke, and not to mention the way she moved as well. Maybe that would be for the best, said Naruto. Very well, said Sakura. But when she tried to get the scissors, Korora clutched them to her chest. What, was I really that bad, she asked. One look from her made Naruto think that he just killed her puppy or something. She was just so cute. As she gave him the puppy dog eye jutsu, he couldn't. Let her do it, said Naruto. As he pitied the way his head was gonna look after this. But her smile made up for that though. Snady shook her head to that. You big baby, she said. You can sling fireballs until you're out of breath, but when she tried to cut your hair, not my fault, alright? I never liked getting my hair cut. Besides, I'm ticklish. That was not a lie, his neck had always been very sensitive. Between his brief relationship with Sakura, she enjoyed torturing him there. Damn it, there it was again, thinking about her. The one girl that he was unable to save. As that was the motivation and drive to keep on moving forward. To understand why he was doing all of this. Never again would it be Kunoichi or Shinobi he would save them. Anyone whose life had been falling into misfortune. Never ever again he knew that he could not save everyone, but he would be damned if he did not try. So that is why he never cut it, Orochimaru said. Kid, I don't know whether to be jealous or pity you, said Jiraiya. Leave him be, Jiraiya, Orochimaru said. I for one see the advantage of having two foreign Kunoichi under her roof. It will strengthen our ties with the village. Yeah, that was a new one. Now it wasn't the first time, but still. It still felt weird Orochimaru being the one backing him up. Orochimaru Naruto thought to himself. Was the world coming to an end or something? Still, that was one way to think of it. However, said Kunoichi had fallen for him already. Ticklish, huh? Said Snady. As Naruto's eyes narrowed when she said that, her tone sounded a bit too sweet. Korora-chan, can I borrow those, she asked, as Naruto froze, instantly on guard. Don't you dare, he said. What? Afraid of a little snip, she said. As she stepped closer, clearly enjoying his discomfort, Naruto's gaze snapped towards Sakura and Korora, seeking aid. But the two of them were smiling, rather amused that their savior was so terrified of this woman. The two bastards Jiraiya and Orochimaru weren't any help either. I'm warning you, said Naruto. Oh, don't worry. I'm not gonna hurt you much. Let me go, woman, said Naruto. Enjoy the haircut, kid, said Jiraiya as he chuckled to himself. As Nelly tightened her hold on him and descended with the scissors. Time skip. Come on, kid. Are you still sulking about that? No answer. Are you really gonna give me the silent treatment? There was still no answer. I'll leave him be, said Jiraiya as he poked at the fire with his stick. He will open up when he's good and ready. However, Snady wanted him to open up right now. But Naruto could not be blamed after the horrendous haircut that she gave him. Come on, damn it. Talk to me, she said. Let me be, said Naruto. You hack a huge chunk out of it. You crazy woman. You did mess up his hair pretty badly, Orochimaru said. But, said Snady, I'm never giving you scissors ever again. Korora said, to think someone could be so bad at cutting hair. That's not. Should have let me do it, said Sakura, cutting her off. Poor Snady recalled like he was stung. Why is everyone ganging up on me, she said. as Naruto folded his arms across his chest and refused to answer. The laughter that followed after that statement. At the moment, a storm had wept up out of nowhere, battering them with terrible winds and sand. With night fast approaching and temperature plummeting, their little group had been forced to seek shelter. A lucky thing they found this cave. Pakra had been the one to point it out. She was used to the terrain. As Naruto was in the far back of the cave, he was wanting to be alone. As he wasn't fond of what Tsunade did to his hair. He would get over it eventually, but for now he wanted nothing to do with scissors or Tsunade. He wanted to sulk, and not even Karura could jostle him out of it. It was then that his stomach grumbled in protest. It wanted food, damn it. Even then he willed himself not to move. He would wait until the others fall asleep, but his stomach betrayed him by grumbling again. He couldn't very well last a night without some sort of sustenance, now can he? As he got up and started to walk until his foot caught on something as he was sent sailing and hit the wall. Damn it, what the hell? He bent down to look what it was. His eyes widened. Corpse? It was indeed that, a dead man. Skin stretched over dead bones, his eyes withered and gone. The look on his face looked like pure agony. Whatever killed him, it must have been agonizing for his last moments. Just leave the bastard be and get some food. I'm starving here, man, his darker half said. But Naruto was intrigued. The dead man had a headband of Kumo. His body showed that he has been here for a long while. A few decades at least. If this withered husk was any indication, he frisked the man to see if he had any supplies on him. He was expecting kunais, shuriken, but what he found was a parchment that was strapped to the man's back. It was a scroll. The parchment. It was a large one. It reminded him of the one that Jiraiya showed him in his time. Wait, it looked actually just like a... Naruto broke the seal. His eyes widened. A summoning contract. But not just any contract. This was a contract that he could summon a beast. As legendary. And just as mythical. Dragons? Naruto was shaking in shock. He wasn't aware that something like this ever existed. But even if it had, it must have been lost in here. And no one ever found it. No one stumbled upon this corpse. No one knew of this except for him. Holy shit! Yami was practically bouncing with glee in his head. This is great! No, this is beyond great! Do you have any idea what we could do with this? We will have the village kissing our feet! Naruto said nothing to that idea. Instead, he looked over the scroll more closely. If something is too good to be true, sometimes it oftenly is. But despite everything that he checked, the scroll seemed legitimate. The names that were there were too worn out to even decipher. This scroll was not just old, it was ancient. Whoever this man had been, he must have been a rare breed indeed. The things this man must have seen. Stop dawdling already and sign it. God, you don't have to shout, said Naruto. Biting a thumb, he carefully wrote his name in blood. Naruto Uchiha. As his signature appeared at the end of that long and lengthy list, his thumb healed almost immediately. It seems a small wound like this was not beyond the Kyuubi power inside of him to heal. Despite his curiosity, however, trying to summon a beast like this in this place would be rather stupid. He would wait until later. He closed said parchment as he opened a storage scroll and sealed it away. Wouldn't be good to have his friends learn of his new discovery until he mastered it. Whoever this man was, whoever he would have been, he clearly didn't have a use for it anymore. Hey, what do you got there? As Naruto almost jumped, so focused he didn't sense her. As she was holding on to a spear of fire in her palm, she saw that he was looking towards it. Scorchily, she said. Just call me a human flashlight, she said, as she gazed at the spot beside him. With her eyes, she asked if she could sit, as Naruto moved aside a bit, allowing her to sit down, as her shoulder brushed his. For a moment they remained like that. As Naruto asked the others, are fast asleep. Why aren't you, he said. Your friend Jiraiya. He snores. Rather loudly, she said. As Naruto chuckled at that, remembering Jiraiya from his days. The man did snore. Glad to see you finally come out of your shell, said Naruto. So, why the change of heart? I've done some thinking, she said. When my Kazekage told me I had to go with you, at first I thought it was a curse. You called me ugly, said Naruto. No, Naruto Dano, she said. She got her feet. Relax, said Naruto. I was just joking. As he pulled her back down, lighten up. You're making fun of me, she said, as she used the orb to light the torch, as it burned softly at their feet, as her fireball faded. Maybe, but you need to loosen up a bit. And how do you suggest I do that, she asks. Well, you might want to let your hair down once in a while, and be sociable. You and Snaggy are getting along rather well, but you haven't said more than 2 words to Jiraiya or Orochimaru. Well, one is a pervert, and the other, he frightened me, she said. Can you move closer a bit? I'm cool, she said. As Naruto scooched over until she was leaning in his jacket. At this close, Naruto could smell her. A jaded smell that was rather wonderful. Without even thinking, his hand reached up and stroked through her hair. What? Said Pakra, her face turning red. Is there something on my face? No, said Naruto. Do you like girls with long hair? She asked. As Naruto thought about that, mentally thinking about the girls he knew that possessed such a hair. Hinata, Karen, me. He wasn't really opposed to long or short. Well, I don't dislike them, said Naruto, as she twirled her finger. Would you like it if I grew mine out? She asked. I like you for who you are, even if you're a bit stiff, said Naruto, as she shoved an elbow into his stomach. That hurts, said Naruto. So you can't feel pain after all. And here I thought you were invulnerable, unless scissors were involved. As she chuckled, as Naruto uttered an oath of foul language, as her cheeks burned. Shinobis, don't give good haircut, he said at the end. Next time ask me to cut it. I'm no expert, but my aunt taught me a few things. I'll do that then, said Naruto. So, he asked. So, she said. You have family back home. An aunt and an uncle actually, she said, as she seemed to be happy with the change. The both of them are civilians. She's been a stylist all of her life, and he's an accountant. I know it sounds silly, but they probably think of me as a hero, for giving myself to Konoha as I have. Damn Kazekage, said Naruto, treating his shinobis like pawns on a chessboard. I should have killed him. I told you not to say such things, she said. Besides, I would rather be, she gulped, betrothed to you, than remain a tool in the sand. You've been wonderful so far. Yes, I suppose that's true, said Naruto. What about you, she said. Do you have any family in the village? No, no direct family anyway. So you were alone before that? I had someone, said Naruto. She saw the look on his face. What was she like, she asked, knowing that was the case. She died a long time ago. I'm sorry, Parker, he said, cutting her off, as their eyes met. As Naruto felt like something else was happening here than just conversation, when their hands reached up, as she was holding on to him. Their eyes were still intertwined. You're injured, she said, as Naruto remembered a shard had smacked him right in the face. At the explosion in the sand, it was nothing more than a dull ache, but her reminded him of it. However, green, as he started to feel the ache vanishing rather quickly. You know how to heal, Naruto asked. One learned many skills in the sand, she said. I'm no medic, but I can ease the pain. Was she talking about his injury, or the burden that he was carried since Hiro died? As he realized that he had obliterated Gaara and his siblings, just like that, he couldn't care less what happened to Sasuke, that he wiped him away. But Gaara, Temari, Kankuro, they did not deserve this, after all they fought for. He sighed. Do you want me to ease it, she asked. As he looked at her, she was no longer talking about the bruise, as their eyes met once again. Their gaze were intense as they focused directly in each other's eyes, like they were looking into each other's soul. As Naruto couldn't help it as he leaned in. His kiss with Mikoto would spark a flame, but this one, a raging inferno exploded inside of him, as the both of them seemed to melt in each other. As the both of them fell when Naruto dropped on the sandy ground, as they rolled into a tight embrace. As Naruto stopped as he rose, a wall, to stop any unwanted eyes, as she removed his jacket, as he proceeded to remove hers as well. It was like Parker had missed a piece of herself, and she finally found it in here with this Uchiha, as the both of them just seemed to blend together. Even without words, they knew what each other wanted. Afterwards, they were cuddled up in each other's arms, as she ran a hand through his hair. You really should let me cut your hair, she said. Even after what Tsunade-sama did, it just keeps on growing. What? You banged me once, and you think that gives you right to start go ahead and snipping, said Naruto, with a laugh. But I would like that, he said. But just not too short, alright? She nods into him. Whatever you say, husband, she said. You know we aren't married yet, right? As long as you will it, she said. I'm yours. There was just something about her, as he looked down towards her. He found himself just in trance. Neither of them told anyone what happened on that stormy night. However, in the morning, the others wondered why they were cuddled up together. When they finally arrived back home, Parker did a wonderful job at his hair. No longer will he have to turn in his hair, whip him in his face. It was at a perfect level. Parker was making some small talk with Jiraiya. That was good for her. She needed to know that the Konoha ninjas weren't her enemy. She needed to know that this was not a death sentence. That there were others that they could rely on. The village was a stone throw away. As they walked in content. Naruto-sama, as he turned towards Karura, she seemed more curious than afraid as she looked toward the village up ahead. You need something, he said. Yes, she said. What's Konoha like? Why, I'm glad you asked, said Naruto. For all the bad memory you had here, there was also some good one. Now, some might tell you that Konoha is a great village, rich with history. But the truth is, with that he launched into a grand tale of both past and present, parts of which that were exaggerated for the story. As the story came to an end when he finally reached the gate. And that's why you never pissed off Anabarame, he said. By the end she was glowing with amusement, as she seemed like she wanted to laugh. What's so funny, said Naruto. Oh, it's nothing, she said as he came to a stop. I just never imagined Uchihas were like this. Powerful and arrogant, yes. But kind too. Like you actually made me feel a bit better about leaving my home. As Naruto felt something twist inside of him. Did you, leave any family back home? You mean parents? No, she said. They died a long time ago. I've been living on my own ever since. I had a distant cousin, but we never really talked. I'll admit, I was kind of interested in Hiro-kun, but after what happened, her expression tightened a bit. I don't think my love life will take off anytime soon. Sorry, said Naruto. Damn it. Once again he was reminded the Sand siblings would not be born. What did that make him a monster for changing things? Or the fact that he didn't feel so bad about change in the future? Would it be worth it in the end? No, don't be, she said. I'm glad you saved me and everything, but it's just this. As she looked towards the gates, it's all just so sudden and unexpected. I feel like at any moment I'm gonna wake up and realize the whole thing was just a dream. A good or a bad dream, Naruto asked. Good, I think. As she looked at him. Yeah, definitely a good one, she said. For what it's worth, said Naruto. I didn't mean to take you out like that. I'm actually glad that you did. Naruto was surprised. She was grateful. To leave behind everything she ever knew. I had no friends in the sand. It was a miracle I made, Chunin. My only skill of a talent I was born with. She touched a small gourd at her side. I'm able to manipulate sand, for what it's worth. I'm not even sure if it's a bloodline. She uncorked it and pulled out the grains. They swirl around her fingers. Your Kage is a kind man, right? She said. Perhaps he will find some use for me, once they let us in. What she said struck something inside him deep, as it reminded him so much of Gara. He grabbed her hand. Don't talk like that. As the sand fell, you are not a tool. As the others overheard him, you're a Kunoichi, and a splendid one at that. You are a person, you have meaning, you have purpose. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. See, she said, as she looked into his eyes. That is what I mean. You treat me like I have worth. Like I have value. The others, your clan, are they like that, she asked. As one hand traced his head, as she used her finger to draw circles on his hand. Because if they are. Oh no, said Naruto. I'm a special case. As Naruto was mesmerized by her just drawing her finger in his hand like that. So you're my knight in shining armor then, she said. Thank you. I really appreciate the sentiment, she said. Well, you're welcome, said Naruto. As he wondered what the hell was that a moment ago. For a moment there he felt, oh, I want to give this to you. As she pulled out a scroll and handed it to him. A scroll? Not just any scroll, she said. What you have there is a contract for scorpions. Why give this to me, said Naruto. Wouldn't it be better for you? It was my mother's contract, she said. She passed it on to me. Don't get me wrong, I tried to summon them a few times. But they never accept me, so I thought, it will be better for you, she said. For everything that you have done, she said. The words could not form what he was thinking at the moment. It was the way that she parted with it. It was the way that she laid her confidence into him. It was just... Thank you, said Naruto. So, if you're a knight, she said, I guess that makes me your damsel in distress. As she was blushing, I mean, you did save my life after all. And know this. You keep praising me and yet, I've done nothing but feel sorry for myself for the past 2 days. But hearing those words, I almost want you to praise me more. As Naruto wanted to reach and grab her, and lay a kiss all over her until she felt he covered his face. What the hell? Where did that came from? Naruto-san? Oh, it's nothing, said Naruto. Gaara's mother. She's Gaara's mom. Gaara's mom, he said to himself. Sasuke's mother was one thing, concerned that he never liked the prick. But this was Gaara's mother. And a huge part of him wanted to be with her as well, but that would be betraying Gaara's memory. Yet, would this bring the Saiyan siblings back in the world? As Naruto paused and looked down to a nearby puddle. He had already changed so much. Despite as she saw him as a knight and a hero, he was still a failure who failed back then and lost everything. He might look different, yes. Really different, but those memories, he still had them. Naruto dunno. As Sakura tugged on his sleeve, the gates. Huh? As Naruto looked up to see the gates swing open. They were well known, so they were let in. A few days ago he was manhandled by the Anvils, but now, the gate guards snapped off salutes to him. Home sweet home, said Jiraiya. Man, has it really only been 3 weeks? Feels like we just left, Orochimaru said. Huh, I need a shower, said Tsunade. I got sand in all the wrong places. Milwaukee's gonna give me hell. Forget your kid brother. Let's have a drink. The Anvils closed in as he moved towards the girls. Names, he said. Sakura, formerly of the Sun. Karura, also formerly of the Sun. Very good, the Anvil said. We have already been informed of the terms of the treaty. Until space can be made available, you will share quarters with Naruto Uchiha. Is this acceptable? Sakura blinked. Karura squeaked. As for the Sanins, why the hell is he so lucky, said Jiraiya. Orochimaru merely chuckled. You knew about this? I didn't know shit, said Naruto. Look, said Naruto as he turned towards the Anvil. The law is strict, Uchiha Naruto, the Anvil said. Newly instated shinobis must be kept on their civilians at all times, until their probational period is ended. I suppose that applied to me as well. Naruto said. You weren't made aware, sir. The captain asked. Sir? Naruto was confused. Hokage-sama named you Jonin as of yesterday. The ceremony is to be tomorrow. I for one look forward to work with you. Naruto was confused. Why was this man being so respectful? And he outranked him. He knew why. Only one clan showed him such blind obedience despite the ranks. You're an Uchiha, said Naruto. Yes, sir, the man said. My son, Obito, just started the academy. He speaks of you very often, and I suppose you weren't told. Naruto almost choked. On nothing, he was speaking to Obito's father, the man that he never met, the very same Uchiha who father, the most heinous villain in all of history. As he made sure not to react on that. Something else the old man did not mention, said Naruto, as he asked. He assigned my squad to watch you at all times, while you were in the village, sir. On what grounds, Naruto asked. On the grounds that he feared that you might lose your temper and burn someone, sir. As Naruto and the others sweat drop. Figures. Is that still in effect? No, sir. As a Jonin of Konoha, you do not require Anvil assistance. But if you ever need any, all you have to do is ask for Uchiha Kageyama. Many thanks for your discretion, said Naruto. I believe the Hokage failed to mention this to me. Is there anything else I should be made aware of? Uchiha Mikoto has also requested your presence, at your earliest convenience. It's nearly midnight, said Naruto. She was most insistent, sir. I'll speak with her tomorrow, said Naruto. I trust you can be discreet. Yes, you won't even notice we're here. I certainly hope not, said Naruto. I intend to get some sleep. When he turned, the man in his squad was gone. Holy shit. He wasn't kidding. If you're uncomfortable, the girls can room with me until you find a place of your own, said Tsunade. Now that I like the sound of wham! Jiraiya was cut off as he was punched. I didn't mean like that, you perv. Orochimaru watched the man as he crashed. I'll take him to the hospital. Hopefully they're open all hours. As he watched them depart, as Naruto thought about it, it would be so easy to pawn the girls off to Snazzy, but he couldn't be that selfish just because. Karora might or might not have feelings for him as well. Pakura was a different matter, as she could rein herself in rather easily. No, said Naruto, it'll be fine. You sure, she asks. Yeah, I'm the reason why they're here, said Naruto. In a sense, I feel responsible for them. A man needs to own up to responsibility sometime, you know, said Naruto. Snazzy laughed at that. Keep that attitude up, and I might end up falling for you as well, she said. See you tomorrow, kid. Please tell me she was kidding, Naruto thought as he watched her leave. She was kidding, right? He thought to himself. Naruto-san? Why did she have to say his voice like that? It just sounds so... Uchiha. As Naruto paused. Someone came in to interfere, thank God. But that voice, why did it remind him so much of Kiba? As he turned, he saw the clan markings and a hound that stood beside her. She was an Inazaka, right? But not just any Inazaka. It was Tsume. However, Naruto did not trust himself right now. There was anger, sorrow, and desire in him right now. And he didn't know which one would lash out. I know the envoy gave you the run already. So I'm gonna make this quick. As she threw a finger behind her, your girl want to see her. As Packer bristled a bit, Karora was less subtle. Girl, she whispered. As Naruto blinked. And why you tell me this, he said. Because I owe the old girl a favor. Naruto was not buying it. And, well, I wanted to see the man that everyone was calling the Black Death. And you don't look that impressive to me, she said. As she tilted her head, as Kuromaru barked beside her to confirm what she said. The Black Death? Naruto thought to himself. That was news to him. He wasn't aware that his recent event in the sand had garnered him such a moniker. Was the stone to blame for that one? Or was this another scheme from the Kazekage? Still, the Black Death. It had a nice ring to it. Konoha already possessed a white fang after all. Given a couple of years, it would have the Sannin and the yellow flash thereafter. Not to mention the bloody habanero. Now that brought a smile to his face. Yeah, the Black Death did not sound so bad. Well, you've seen me. Now shoo, said Naruto. I want to get some shut-eye. She moved to block him. Why don't you make me, tough guy, she said. She was testing him. Aggression was always a part of the Inazaka lifestyle. And she wanted to see if the claims were true, the rumors. But this Tsume was a younger one. And she was seeing a challenge which she wanted to take at the moment. The Uchiha arrogance went straight into his tone. Woman, he said, I do not have the patience for this. That seemed to rile her up even more. Oh? Then do something about it. Girls, as Naruto looked behind him, why don't you pull up a seat? A blink of the eye was all it took to make a shadow clone. I'm about to show you how Konoha ninjas do battle. Oh, cocky, said Tsume, as she dropped into a crouch. So you really want to do this? Right here. Right now. As Naruto looked over the streets, perhaps this was not the best place. Is there a training ground nearby? As her grin widened even more. Time skip. So why is Naruto-san doing this? Karora asks. Because he feels that he must. But aren't they allies? It's just a friendly spar. The spars in the sand were never friendly. No, they weren't, so this is why Karora looked forward at the trepidation between the two. As Pakura had felt it ever since. The news was given out that they were going to be coming here. Naruto was feeling guilty for unable to save that young man back in the sand, and for leading them to be taken away from their home as well. He was incredibly kind in that regard, but sometimes that empathy can be a weakness. When one cared too much, they were affected by thoughts that should not be on their mind. She would have to talk to him about that, but for now, he wanted to work off some of that aggression. Fang over fang! Naruto did not even need a Sharingan to see it. He had seen Kiba use his attack so much times, as he knew how they would come in, how they would formulate. As Naruto stepped right through it, and stepped past her attack, as Naruto jumped and met her in mid-air, before he slammed his sandal in her face, dropping her to the ground. As he landed, your technique is powerful, but your movement lacked freedom. Thanks for the tip. She bounced off the earth and rushed towards him. If it wasn't for his enhanced speed, she would have probably grazed him right there. Kuromaru shredded his clone that he made a few minutes ago, as the members came back to him. As he always wondered why was his clones slower than him. Well, just because he predicted that, his clone might have not. As she came at him once again, but this time, she surprised him by twisting her movement at the same time. As she hit him, Naruto staggered back. Got you, she said, as Naruto was surprised. Not that she hit him, but because of how much it hurt. He was so used to Grandma blunting the pain from his injuries and his wounds that he'd forgotten how a fist could actually feel. Huh, look like you're not as tough as I thought. Some Uchiha you are. Her eyes widened when she realized her face was going towards the ground. As her face hit the ground as Naruto was holding on to her hair, placing her face into the ground, she was up again almost instantly, jumping away. But the way he looked at her, he looked like he was about to kick ass. Her ass to be precise. Oh shit, she said. Maybe I shouldn't have hit him so hard. As Naruto was of similar mind, he swept her aside as she tried to hit him with a rotating fang. His black eyes looking at her. But there was just something about his eyes, so dominating, like an alpha. But she was nothing if not stubborn and she refused to give up. Let's go, Kuromaru. Getsuga! Naruto did not move as he pulled his fist back. The next thing she knew, she slammed into the wooden log. Her eyes went wide in shock. The logs were on the other side of the training ground. How could he have thrown her so far, with only one punch? His other hand was clutching the throat of Kuromaru, as the dog tried to bite his wrist. His expression now downright terrified her, as she flinched, as Naruto threw the dog, as it crashed right into her. They were up within a second, but it was his eyes. It seems like something inside of him had just snapped, like he was no longer the same opponent that he fought a moment ago. Screw it, Naruto thought. He didn't care anymore. He didn't care about anything anymore. No one hit him like that and questioned his manhood. But it was not only that. All along he has been sobbing about his pain, about what he did. But it was already done. There was nothing that could change it. He was just wasting time and making himself feel bad. In the end, it was nothing but a colossal waste. It was time to accept the consequences. For starters, Tatsumi was going down. Hard. As Tatsumi whipped past him again, he tapped her on the back with a palm, as a seal spread on the back of her jacket. Hirishin. He hadn't been able to use it back in his hand, as he didn't want anyone to see it and fear that he had stole his father's title. But using it here wouldn't be too much to smack some sense into her. I'm done, said Naruto. I'm done playing with you for tonight. What the hell do you mean, she said. We're just getting started. No, it's over, said Naruto as he threw a smoke bomb right towards her. A clone pulled beside him as he moved. As Packer saw something like a dark flash, it moved in an instant. All they heard was Kuromaru yelling in pain, as the smoke hid the technique. When the smoke cleared, as Tatsumi was held down by Naruto, her partner pinned by his clone, as he trapped her in a very compromised position. As he trapped both of her arms above her head, his body leaned over hers, looking directly into her eyes. She struggled. Give up, said Naruto. You've lost. You think I'm afraid of a little foreplay, she said. I think you're afraid of more than that. Or perhaps it's just my imagination. As Naruto leaned forward, there was a spot that all Inazakas possess. All female Inazakas. Right at her neck as Naruto bit down on it. And she became putty in his hands. The harder she fought, the faster she lost herself. Kurora clapped a hand over her face as she was embarrassed. Naruto-san. Packer was more shocked than anything. Was Naruto like this, or was it to act? Give up, he said, or I make it painful. You bastard. Every word was a struggle as he tried to resist the alpha over her. You think a little nip would do me in? How about this then, as he brought his leg down? As she realized what he was gonna do, the man that she saw before was not the same one that she was fighting now. He had accepted something, embraced a part of himself, and become a leader, an alpha. Fine, fine, she said, I give up. Smart move as he pulled his leg back. As he rolled off her, leaving her body brimming with unwanted need. A part of her wanted to pounce him there and then, but she reined herself in though. Well shit, I guess the rumors were not that exaggerated. You kicked my ass. I told you I would, said Naruto. As Naruto sighed, he was tired. Not from the fight, but... well, tomorrow was gonna be a long day, if memory serve. Being a Jonin was already so tiresome and annoying. And what the hell was up with all these females? He couldn't make a guy... damn. There he was again, losing himself into that thought. Alright ladies, I think we're gonna call it a night. Before anything else screw with my sleep schedule. As Naruto created 2 clones, Pakura and Kurora were surprised as he picked them up. As he just leaped off into the village. Damn, he didn't even use his Sharingan. Is he that good? Said Azumi. As she licked her lips. Now that's my kind of man. Kuromar deadpan her. What? I don't have to go after him right now. Her partner barked in the negative. I'm very patient, she said, with a smirk to herself. But guys, be instant right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. And remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.